The head of the UN's International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, said Monday he's leading a team on its way to inspect the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine. VOA correspondent Henry Ridgewell spoke with VOA's Flashpoint program Monday about the IAEA's visit.
There's little detail, partly because there's so much yet to be worked out about this visit by the IAEA inspectors to Zaporizhzhia. The mission is called the Support and Assistance Mission. We don't know how many people are involved in the mission or indeed when it will arrive. And of course, that's because of the very precarious security situation in the region. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant sits on the banks of the Dnieper River. Russia took that power plant in the early days of the war in March and has been in control of it since, but it's still very much a live conflict zone and part of the region that Ukraine wishes to take back from the invading Russian forces.
Both the United Nations and Ukraine have called for a withdrawal of military equipment and personnel from the area around the Zaporizhzhia plant to ensure it's not a target in the conflict. While speaking in Stockholm Monday, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmitry Kuleba told reporters the international community should be united in its demand Russia withdraw from the nuclear plant, saying that that's the only way to ensure security at the site. Kuleba said he expects the IAEA to present a clear statement of facts of violation of nuclear safety protocols at the plant. He said Russia is putting not only Ukraine but the entire world at risk of a nuclear accident. Hours later, the Kremlin called on the international community to pressure Ukraine to reduce tensions at the plant, saying it was Ukraine that was putting Europe at risk with shelling. A fuel leak, then an engine problem Monday forced NASA, the U.S. space agency, to scrub the launch of its new moon rocket on an unmanned test flight. NASA spokesman Daryl Nail announced the decision.
This is Artemis Launch Control with an update. Launch Director Charlie Blackwell-Thompson has called a scrub for today. Again, Launch Director Charlie Blackwell-Thompson has called a scrub of the attempt of launch of Artemis 1. Launch Director has asked the liquid hydrogen team to come up with next steps and a plan on what to do.
The next launch attempt will not take place until Friday at the earliest. The roughly 98-meter Space Launch System was set to lift off Monday morning with 3 test dummies on board its first flight, a mission to propel a capsule into orbit around the moon. The shakedown flight, when it happens, will be a big step in America's quest to put astronauts back on the moon for the first time since the end of the Apollo program 50 years ago. The test involves the Space Launch System rocket, the most powerful in NASA's history, which will power the unmanned Orion capsule around the moon and back to Earth, with the entire journey taking about 6 weeks. French-Israeli diamond magnate Benny Steinmetz will be back in court in Switzerland Monday to appeal against a corruption verdict linked to mining rights in Guinea. The 66-year-old businessman was convicted in January of 2021 of setting up a complex financial web to pay bribes to ensure his company would obtain permits in an area estimated to contain the world's biggest untapped deposits of iron ore. He was sentenced by a Geneva court to 5 years in prison and also ordered to pay $52 million in compensation. Steinmetz, who maintains his innocence throughout the trial, has changed his legal team for the appeal. Those lawyers insist Steinmetz's company legitimately obtained the mining rights in question and had worked to set up an operation that would have benefited Guinea's national interests. Officials in Pakistan say more than 1,000 people have died in widespread flooding since mid-June, and the country's climate ministry has called the deadly monsoon season a serious climate catastrophe. Flash flooding from heavy rains has washed away villages and crops as soldiers and rescue workers evacuated stranded residents to the safety of relief camps and provided food to thousands of displaced Pakistanis. The country's National Disaster Management Authority reported Sunday the death toll since the monsoon season began this year in mid-June, earlier than normal, reached 1,061 people after new fatalities were reported in several different provinces. Repeating the hour's top news story, the head of the UN's International Atomic Energy Agency said Monday he's leading a team on its way to inspect the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine.
Hi, thank you for watching. I hope the videos are useful for you. Please subscribe to my channel using the button below.